Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers of sorry, I'm having a bit of a sore throat here, but cricket is something which is very dear to me, so that's the reason I'm here with you, dear friends and subscribers. So a big hello to all my dear friends and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Your host Ram welcomes you all to this daily cricket show here today. Well, in this cricket show, it is a lot of one-day international matches happening. Tomorrow, there are 3 matches that are going to be played. The first one match would be between India and England. India, after getting a severe drubbing against England in the Test series, would be renewing their rivalry with England in the one-day international series. And let me tell you, India's one-day series record, one-day matches record, has not been so good of late, and it is very essential that India really resurrects the situation quite quickly and also salvages something from this tour of England by playing well. So, and as far as England are concerned, well, England would be totally full of confidence after they gave a severe drubbing to India, and so they would be going with all guns blazing. Now the other match which is coming up is the tri-series, which is going to be starting tomorrow. The tri-series in Zimbabwe is about to begin, with the host Zimbabwe taking on Australia tomorrow at the Harare Sports Club. And as you know, South Africa is the other team. So the tri-series is about to begin tomorrow. So I'm going to have a look at the tri-series, looking at some prospects there. And then Bangladesh would be trying to save faces, if at all they could actually put it across the West Indies tomorrow in the third one-day international, and also could avoid a clean sweep by the West Indies of the one-day series 3-0, if at all Bangladesh, who, as I said the other day, capitulated to 70 all out, could actually put up a much better performance and prove that that was just one-off day that they had. That would really augur well for Bangladesh if at all they managed to do so. So let's start off with the first match of the one-day international series, which is coming up between India and England, and that is going to be played tomorrow at Bristol. Now, as far as, let's look at the Indian team. Now, Indian team, there would be some changes for sure. Shikhar Dhawan is going to open with Rohit Sharma. Now, for India, one good thing that happens to be is that Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma are good one-day players. So definitely there would be a lot of things which would be going for them. And Shikhar Dhawan, even though he has been out of form, I think one day is something which is pretty different. You don't have 3 slips and a gully waiting for you to take catches. So I'm sure Shikhar Dhawan would probably fancy his chances tomorrow to hit the right form, and wish him good luck. So Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma, India would be totally dependent on this particular pair. Rohit Sharma, as you know, already has a double century in one-day internationals, which he scored at home against Australia. So Rohit Sharma is the one who would be pretty happy to get in, because Rohit Sharma, as you know, is always his permanent place has been the one-day matches rather than the test matches. So he knows Rohit Sharma is sort of a permanent fixture in the Indian team. So both Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma would open the innings. Virat Kohli, as you know, the match against Middlesex, Virat Kohli hit the first 50 of this tour of England after failing in the first 5 test matches against England. So that would have done him a lot of good when he takes on England in the one-day international series, and he would really like to make real amends here. Probably one has to see whether he can really be successful in probably scoring as much runs as possible in this. I'm sure Virat Kohli is a very determined person, and he would like to put his best foot forward and he would also like to change the script that he had in the test matches by amassing a lot of runs in this one-day series for India. Ajinkya Rahane, another very good one-day player, really plays those percentage shots to real perfection. And then they have the one-day specialist Suresh Raina coming in, who has reinforced this Indian team after coming in, and whether Suresh Raina can bring in some good change of luck for India. And he himself has proved now that he had a problem against the short ball. We saw in the last matches that he played, he was also the captain of the victorious Indian team against Bangladesh in the one-day series again in Bangladesh. So Suresh Raina would like to really continue in the same vein. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain, who compared to all the other players who played, I thought Mahendra Singh Dhoni was the one who was amongst the runs on this tour of England, and he would like to really get on with things tomorrow, and he would like to change the picture that India produced in the test matches by putting up a good show in the one-day international series. Ravindra Jadeja, another one-day specialist like Suresh Raina, would be doing the bits and pieces for India, whether be it the batting, bowling or fielding. He is totally 100%, and he would like to contribute. Ravichandran Ashwin, another vital cog in the wheel of India's scheme of things when it comes to bowling, and Ravichandran Ashwin would be probably thinking that even though he was dropped for the test matches, even though he played a few test matches in this series, Ravichandran Ashwin would like to bowl well. The bowling, well, it will be in the hands of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Mohammad Shami. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, we all know, he got the player of the, he shared the the player of the series award with James Anderson, and he would like to continue the same effort. Mohammad Shami is also a very good one-day bowler, and that would be a good combination for India. And then to add a bit of pace, Umesh Yadav would be the change bowler for India. So all in all, it looks like India, well, as I said, the pressure, the psychological pressure is definitely going to be on India, no doubt about it, but they quickly have to change that pretty quickly against England. Well, for England, England have everything, all the things going for them. Alistair Cook, the captain, has hit the form, and let's look at one batsman who has been making waves in England, and finally he has been included for the one-day international series. We know that man is the only person who has scored T20 internationally. He did it in the World Cup for England. His name is Alex Hales. Alex Hales has been really is really said to be a very good specialist one-day batsman. He has scored lots of runs in the English county, in the domestic county scene here, and so he would be the one who would be opening the innings with his captain Alistair Cook. Ian Bell will give the solidity to this England lineup. Joe Root would also do the same. Morgan will come, and he's the one who would be playing the big shots, and he's the one on whom England would be relying if at all they require quick runs. They have a few other good players too. Chris Woakes, the all-rounder, or Ben Stokes. So that was going to be a toss-up. I would probably go for Chris Woakes because he's just coming on the back of a very good performance yesterday. As you know, he took his team to victory. The Warwickshire has actually won the NatWest T20 Blast Championship. So I'm sure Chris Woakes would have lots of confidence, and I would be tempted to say that looking at Ben Stokes' form, I would rather say that Chris Woakes should be getting the nod, and Chris Woakes would be into the team as an all-rounder, so he would definitely like to do the job there, Chris Woakes. And Chris Woakes was also the person who actually kept Andrew Flintoff quiet and also picked up his wicket. So Chris Woakes for me would be the person to play in preference to Ben Stokes. But well, that is for the English think tank to really decide, but my choice would be Chris Woakes. Josh Butler, the wicketkeeper, the innovative, the very ebullient player, Josh Butler, who already this time he got a chance to play in the test matches against India, did well. So I see no reason why Josh Butler wouldn't be able to make runs tomorrow in the One Day International Series, and India would be pretty wary about it. Then they have Chris Jordan, the bowler, but also a very good one-day player, I thought, because he likes to whack the ball, and that is what he does best. And Chris Jordan would like to really heave that heave the cherry bowled at him by the Indians into all open territories, I would say. And then they have the bowling would be in the hands. There's no Stuart Broad, so that is a big blow for England, no doubt about it. Because he's an all-rounder, he's not there. So James Anderson would be doing duties with Harry Goodney. Harry Goodney, as you know, is a left-arm seam bowler, pace bowler, who actually got his one-day international debut against the Sri Lankans, and I thought he did pretty well against the Sri Lankans. So India would be getting the first taste of Harry Goodney tomorrow, and then the spin would be in the hands of James Treadwell, the red-arm off-spinner, who is also a very good off-spinner. So all in all, it looks like the match, it is going to be a very good match. But dear fans and subscribers, one thing that I would like to tell you is that even though the first One Day International is starting tomorrow, the forecast, unfortunately, coming in from Bristol tomorrow is not at all good. So keep your fingers crossed. And I'm told there are no floodlights at the ground. So even if the rain stops, and because of the light they had to play, they could have put the floodlight, but I believe there are no floodlights in Bristol. So one has to only keep our fingers crossed and say that let the fun begin at Bristol with the rain staying away. One only hopes the rain stays away because the weather forecast says that the rains are going to be pretty severe, and one only hopes, for cricket's sake, that this match gets going tomorrow without any interruption from rain. Well, so that is as far as that One Day International match is concerned, the first One Day International match of the series between India and England, which is coming up at Bristol tomorrow. Now let's have a look at the Zimbabwe Tri-Series, which is starting. It's a Tri-Series in Zimbabwe. We all know, even though I'm prompted to say that because Zimbabwe didn't put up a good performance against South Africa, and I'm prompted to say that Zimbabwe, the host, unfortunately would be the underdogs. There's no doubt about that. Looking at this whole Tri-Series picture, which starts tomorrow with the first game between Australia and Zimbabwe. The other team is South Africa. So Zimbabwe, Australia and South Africa, well, looking at it, as you said, Zimbabwe are underdogs. It is a clear sign as to say that Australia and South Africa will be clashing in the finals of the Tri-Series, unless and until Zimbabwe could really upset the apple cart of both Australia and South Africa to reach the final, or even one of the teams, if they could really upset and get probably 2 victories, they still would have done the job. But well, as I said, that is a real it could be a sort of a miraculous task that Zimbabwe would need to perform. But not taking any credit away from Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe definitely have a very good lineup. They would be led by Elton Chigumbura, the captain, who himself has shown that he was in good form with carving his highest ever score in one-day internationals, which was 90 runs against South Africa. And one has to credit Elton Chigumbura for making 90 runs in a small total of 165. So he did his bet. And Elton Chigumbura, he's a good hitter of the ball too. So what one has seen is that Elton Chigumbura has decided now, he has changed his approach a bit. He has decided to buy his time at the crease, and when the time comes, he definitely explodes. Sikandar Raza is a very talented player. We saw the other day in South Africa, he played some handsome strokes. And Richmond Mutumbami, the wicketkeeper opener who was promoted in the batting order to open, unfortunately the experiment failed. And tomorrow also I learned that Zimbabwe are continuing that, so probably eyeing the World Cup 2015 coming up in Australia and New Zealand. Zimbabwe wanted to still try that opening combination between Sikandar Raza and Richmond Mutumbami. So that is going to still happen. Richmond Butumbami, one only hopes that he flowers tomorrow against Australia. Hamilton Masakadza and Brendan Taylor are two experienced blokes in the top order there for Zimbabwe. They would probably hope to deliver. Sean Williams is another good batsman. They have Wilton Chugumbra to really capitalize. And then they have the bowlers. Now bowling is something that Zimbabwe have been doing well. The problem has been the batting arena. In fact, Zimbabwe did well to actually restrict South Africa to very low scores. Probably one would have expected South Africa to run away with a score of probably 300, in excess of 300, but definitely I thought they did well to restrict them. But the bowlers were doing the job, but the batting has been a problem for Zimbabwe. Whether that would be something which would be rectified tomorrow. They do have a coach by Stephen Mangongo, the new coach, who is a pretty disciplinary person, in the sense he's pretty hard on everybody, and he has definitely said nobody can take their place for granted. So that is going to really pile on the pressure on the Zimbabweans to come in and put up their best performance tomorrow. The bowling would be in the hands of Tinashe Panyangra, who has been bowling well. Tendai Chatara, the left-armer pace bowler, who would be partnering him, and then the spinning. The spinners are something that Zimbabwe would be very happy to unleash. John Nimbu, the right-arm spinner, who has looked impressive this season. This year he has come into the first. He came into the one-day, into the test matches. Then he came to the one-day internationals. Proved quite impressive. He can also bat too, and so he would be the one who would be to watch out for as a right-arm off spinner. And with the Australians having a lot of left-handed batsmen in their mix, it would be pretty interesting to see how John Nimbu bowls, right-arm off spinner. And then they have Prosper Utsaya, the experienced off spinner, and for variety's sake, whether they would be prompted to go for a little-known leg spinner by the name Tafadzwa Kamangozi, or whether they would rather go for the teenager Luke Jongwe, the medium pacer, or probably or it could be Shingarai Masakadza. I think Shingarai Masakadza should be the obvious choice, because when I've seen, he's a very tall guy, can extract some bounce from the wicket too, and I also feel that he bowls in the right areas, and I would be prompted to feel, especially considering the opposition that Zimbabwe are against, they could probably go for the experienced Shingarai Masakadza, who bowls military medium pace. Let's look at Australia. Well, Australia definitely have their troubles. David Warne is not there, but well, let me tell you, they have some two blokes who are opening the innings, and that could be pretty electric at times, with Phil Hughes, the stroke maker, and Aaron Finch, the powerful stroke maker, both of them opening. Phil Hughes has really got an opportunity here due to David Warner not played. Phil Hughes is getting an opportunity. He's coming on the back of a very good record that he holds for Australia now in list day matches. He scored a double century, as you would reckon, against India A team. So Aaron Finch and Phil Hughes will open the innings. Michael Clarke, the captain, would lead the team, and then they have the news of George Bailey. They have the big hitter and a big hitter and a very prolific hitter at that, Glenn Maxwell, who is in some great form, especially coming after the Indian Premier League, where he did pretty well. Stephen Smith is another good all-rounder. Brad Hardy, the wicket-keeper, and then the bowling. The bowling in the hands of the Mitchell Johnson and Mitchell Stark probably, and then James Faulkner, the all-rounder, and then they have Nathan Lloyd, the arm spinner, who this time, for the first time, has got an opportunity to play in one-day international matches for Australia, and that would be very keenly viewed because Nathan Lyon, of whom Rod Marsh, the new coach of Australia, has definitely mentioned that the chairman of selectors, Rod Marsh, has definitely mentioned that Nathan Lyon is someone that they would like to see him do well, because as you know, the World Cup 2015 in Australia and New Zealand is really drawing close, with only probably 5 to 6 months still remaining. But this is a test for both the teams. Now let's have a look at the other match which is coming up, that is in Bangladesh and West Indies. So far the series has been absolutely one-sided. West Indies dominating it thoroughly, whether it is with bat or ball, but now for the Bangladesh would be under pressure. Tomorrow, as I said, Bangladesh have only one thing to do, whether they can stop West Indies from clean sweeping the series, when this is going to be played at Basseterre tomorrow. And probably this particular ground, I'm told, is a very small ground. Well, if it is a small ground, are we going to see sixes raining from the bats of the West Indies? And because West Indies would be going with all guns blazing, they have nothing to really fear for now because they already won the series. The onus would be on Bangladesh to prove a point here, to say that the 70 all out that they had against West Indies was just a blip in the mix. Well, as far as Bangladesh are concerned, Tamim Iqbal was the highest scorer yesterday in a score of 70, made 37. None of the guys were able to get on to double figures. Anamul Haq already has hit a century, the first one-day international against West Indies. He already has 3 one-day international centuries, so he's a pretty talented player for Bangladesh. He's a man, he's definitely there for the future, no doubt about it. Imrul K, Shamsul Rahman, both have been struggling here, whether they can get their bearings right tomorrow. Mushfiqur Rahim has not been getting good support, and Mushfiqur Rahim himself has to talk with the bat tomorrow. Nasir Hussain has not done anything of note. Mahmudullah well, the bowling, Mashraf Murtaza has been bowling well. Al-Amin Hussain has been bowling, but has been a pretty costly in one-day internationals. You can take wickets, there's no doubt about it, but also you'll have to keep the run flow down, and that is what Al-Amin Hussain needs to do tomorrow. Then they have Sohail Ghazi, who has not done much in this particular one-day series, and Taskin Ahmed. So probably for Bangladesh, as I said, they are going to find it pretty tough. As far as West Indies are concerned, well, West Indies would be, as I said, confidence personified. They are looking pretty strong, whether it be the batting, bowling or fielding. And I'm told that tomorrow they have drafted in Andre Russell into the team. Now, Andre Russell, as you would remember, in the Caribbean Premier League 2014, he was smoking all the bowlers into the stands, and he was some ominous hitting was done by Andre Russell. And tomorrow probably West Indies would be tempted to put in Andre Russell into the mix and see whether he can really hurt the Bangladeshi bowlers tomorrow. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, I think I'm almost coming to an end of this Cricket Happening show with my previews of all those three one-day international matches which are coming up tomorrow. Your host Ram will be there to talk on all these 3 matches tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye on Sunday on this Cricket Happening show. Thank you.